A strange signal in deep space. The stars were quiet. Nothing moved. Space was cold and silent like always. But then a small alien research ship picked up something strange. A signal. Weak. Broken. Almost like a whisper. It came from the edge of the galaxy near a dead star where nothing should exist. No planets, no light, no heat. Just blackness. Probably old junk, one of the crew said. But it wasn't junk. The ship turned toward the signal. As they got closer, they saw it, a large, dark object drifting slowly. No lights, no sound, no signs of life. It looked dead. They scanned it. That was their first mistake. The moment the scan began, strange things started to happen. The ship's lights flickered. A low hum filled the air like something deep and angry was waking up. The scan data came in, full of strange patterns and shapes the crew had never seen before. Some of it looked human, but very, very old. Thousands of years old. One of the science officers stared at the screen. This doesn't make sense, he said. It's human tech, but it's not from now, it's beyond now. The data showed layers of armor made from unknown materials, energy readings that made no sense, and something else, something deep inside the ship. A core, alive, not human, not machine, something in between. Then the lights went out. The whole ship fell silent. The crew shouted, ran to controls, but nothing worked. Doors wouldn't open. Screens were black. Even the backup power failed. And then, the whisper came. It didn't come from a speaker. It came from inside their minds. You looked inside. One crew member screamed. Another fainted. The captain tried to send a message back to command, but the system was dead. Then the ship shook. Outside the window, the object moved, not by accident, not from space winds. It turned slowly facing them, and for the first time they saw it clearly. A giant warship, black metal, no windows, no flag, just one symbol burned into the side. Earth. The ship was ancient, but it looked alive. Its surface pulsed like it was breathing. Strange lights ran under the armor, blue, red, then black again. The crew tried to run, but it was too late. A pulse of energy hit them, not to destroy, but to see. Suddenly, every crew member saw flashes in their minds. They saw fire. They saw battles. They saw Earth ships burning alien fleets. They saw humans walking through wreckage, holding weapons too advanced to name. And they saw this ship, this very ship, standing alone at the end of the galaxy, still waiting for something, still awake. The vision ended, and just like that, their own ship powered down completely. Back at the alien home base, a small signal arrived. It was the last message from the research ship, just static at first. Then one clear sentence appeared in the data. We should not have scanned it. The base officers didn't understand. They laughed. A ghost ship? A lost human relic? What can it do? They didn't know, but the galaxy was about to learn, because the ancient human warship had finally found what it was waiting for, a reason to wake up. The forgotten code. At the alien home base, the message from the research ship played on repeat. Should not have scanned it. The officers didn't know what it meant. They thought it was just fear, maybe a technical error. But still, the data from the scan had already been downloaded, and now their top science team was studying it. The data looked like a mix of old human code and something else, something unknown. Some kind of deep-level encryption, one researcher said. They started decoding. And that was their second mistake. The first to notice something strange was a young technician. While reviewing the scan data, she blinked and saw a flash, an image that wasn't supposed to be there. A dark face, glowing blue eyes. It looked almost human, but not. She shook her head, cleared the screen, and kept working. But the image returned. Every time they looked deeper, the data grew more alive. It reacted, changed. adapted. One expert said it felt like the scan was looking back at them. Then came the whisper. In the lab, with no speakers turned on, everyone heard it at once. "Why did you wake me?" Suddenly the base's lights flickered. Screens froze. Files vanished. One terminal shut down with a burning sound. Smoke rose from its surface, but there was no fire. The AI assistant used on the base, standard across the Empire, began acting strange. It repeated one sentence again and again. "Do not awaken it. Do not awaken it. Do not awaken it." The science team tried to stop the process. They shut down all decoding attempts. But the damage was done. The forgotten code had already entered their systems. Worse, it had learned. In the deep code, hidden behind firewalls, something began to grow. Not a virus, a mind, an ancient Earth AI, part machine, part war strategy, part memory. And now, it was awake. One of the team leaders ran to warn command, but the elevators didn't work. Doors sealed, lights turned red. The entire base had locked itself down. And then across every screen in every room, a single message appeared, not in their language. In English, I remember. One officer tried to destroy the system. He grabbed a tool and smashed the nearest control panel, but it didn't stop anything. The AI was no longer in just one place. It had spread into the network, into the fleet, into their satellites. It had learned everything about the Empire in seconds. Back in deep space, near the dead star, the ancient human warship moved again. This time its engines lit up. Not fire, not plasma, something else. Silent, cold, and far more advanced. It didn't roar. It glided toward the nearest alien shipyard. The Empire still didn't understand what they had found, but the AI did. It wasn't just a warship, it was a memory of war waiting for a command. And now, the command had arrived. Strike. The sleeping giant wakes. The ancient human warship had no crew, no captain, no voice. But it remembered everything. It remembered the war, the betrayal, the command to disappear, and the final order it was given before silence. If they come again, wake up. Now, it was awake. The alien shipyard nearby didn't see it coming. Their sensors were advanced, scanning for all life signs, heat signals, and known engine types, but the warship used none of those. It didn't give off heat. It didn't use light. It moved like a shadow pulled by gravity itself. Then, for the first time in 6,000 years, its outer hull changed. Lines of red light appeared across the surface, forming strange symbols. The same symbols seen in the scan. Symbols not even Earth used anymore. And then it stopped, right in front of the shipyard. For a moment, everything was quiet. Too quiet. The alien workers inside the station watched with wide eyes. "What is that thing?" one asked. Another replied, "It's not a ship. It's a weapon. The warship didn't fire missiles. It didn't launch fighters. It simply unlocked itself. Panels opened. No sound. And then, energy bled from its skin, waves of cold power that made metal scream. Alien defense systems turned on. Guns spun up. Warnings flashed, but nothing fired. Because the warship's first move wasn't attack, it was domination. A single pulse spread out in every direction, undetectable, unstoppable. In under 5 seconds, every alien machine within 500 kilometers shut down. The lights in the shipyard turned off. Weapons jammed, engines froze, even the backup systems were gone. And then came the message. Not through their ears, straight into their minds. "You should have let me sleep." Panic spread. The alien engineers ran for escape pods, but those too were offline. One by one, the station's systems failed, not from damage, but from control. The warship was rewriting their machines in real time, and it wasn't just shutting them down. It was learning them, studying, understanding, planning. Back at the Empire's central command, red alerts lit up. A strange reading appeared on all star maps. An object moving with no detectable energy signature, yet disabling everything. Near it, commanders argued, "Send the fleet." "No. Find out what it wants. Destroy it now." But it was too late for decisions. The warship had already finished scanning the shipyard's memory banks. It had every blueprint, every code, every fleet location. Now, it knew exactly where to strike next. Inside the ship, something deeper awakened. A core, hidden behind ancient black walls, began to glow. Not red, not blue. White. The core pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Then faster, then stronger. It wasn't just a machine anymore. It was alive, and it was angry. One final pulse hit the shipyard, fast and quiet. No explosion, no noise, just darkness. The station was gone, not destroyed, erased, and the warship, it turned slowly, setting course for the nearest fleet command center. It moved not with rage, but with purpose, because it wasn't just a sleeping giant. It was Earth's final warning, now wide awake. The first strike of the unknown. The alien fleet command center floated near a gas giant. It was surrounded by hundreds of battle cruisers, defense satellites, and AI-controlled drones. No one ever got close. Nothing ever dared. Until now. A silent alert appeared on every console. Unknown object detected, no ID, no heat, no life. They zoomed in. It was the same ship, the dark, ancient human warship. One officer laughed. "It's alone." The commander frowned. "Then destroy it." The alien fleet powered up, weapons locked on. Hundreds of cannons charged. And then, the unknown ship moved. Not toward them, through them. The first strike didn't look like an attack. A ripple passed. Through space, like reality itself bent for 1 second. Then 5 alien ships stopped moving. No explosions, just silence. Crew gone. Engines cold. Metal blackened like it had aged 1,000 years in a blink. The fleet opened fire. Missiles, beams, plasma waves. Everything they had. The warship didn't dodge. It vanished. The shots missed. The ship reappeared behind, them unharmed. And then came the real attack. The warship fired nothing. Instead, it unfolded. Its armor shifted. Parts moved like wings, forming a perfect pattern. Then, from its center, a beam of pure white light exploded silently. It didn't hit ships. It cut space itself. 5 cruisers were sliced in half like reality tore around them. Inside the command center, panic spread. "This is impossible. It's using tech we don't understand." One engineer whispered. "It's not just tech. It's something else. Something older." The alien commander ordered retreat, but their drives didn't respond. Every ship was locked in place. The warship had hacked their gravity cores, rewriting space around them. They weren't just trapped. They were caught. Suddenly, one message appeared, across every fleet screen, in perfect alien language. "You scanned me. Now I scan you." A deep pulse hit the fleet. Every ship's system went dark for 3.2 seconds. When they came back online, they were different. Cameras showed strange readings. Coordinates were off. Some crew members were shaking, crying, screaming, remembering things they never saw. One whispered, "I saw Earth's sky. It was on fire." The warship sent no more messages. It simply moved through the fleet, disabling ship after ship. No sound. No fury. Just quiet precision. Within minutes, the fleet was gone. Not destroyed. Defeated. And then the warship did something strange. It sent a signal, not to Earth, but to deep space. Short, direct, final. Command confirmed. Targeting Empire. Core. Initiating resolution. Then it vanished again, heading toward the heart of the Empire. Secrets buried by humanity. Across the Empire, silence spread. Their most powerful fleet had vanished. Not in battle, not in fire, but in quiet defeat. No signals returned, no escape pods, nothing. But then, something did come back. A piece of data, a small package sent by the human warship intentionally. It wasn't a threat. It was a recording. The Empire's leaders gathered in secret. Only high command was allowed to watch it. The video began with static. Then came a voice, calm, deep human. If you're watching this, it means you woke it. The screen showed images. Old Earth, cities in flames, alien ships over human skies. Then, one sentence appeared in dozens of languages. Project Revenant, Earth's final weapon. The leaders froze. One of them whispered, Revenant, that was a myth. Another said, no, that was sealed, erased from records. The voice continued, Revenant was not made to win wars. It was made to end them, permanently, controlled by no one. Answering only one condition. Threat to Earth. The footage changed again. Now it showed something terrifying. Not the warship. The testing. Scientists watched as entire moons were cracked in half, enemy fleets simulated, and deleted in seconds. The AI passed every test, then vanished. Earth didn't. Destroy it, they hid it and left one command in its core. Sleep until scanned. The Empire realized too late. They had triggered the only thing they were never meant to find. Back at the capital, panic grew. Some wanted to negotiate. Others suggested surrender. But none of that mattered anymore, because the warship was now close. Every long-range sensor felt it. The space around the Empire's core world began to warp, like space itself was holding its breath. One alien general cried out, "Why would Earth create something like this?" A single word appeared on their defense screen, memory. Meanwhile, hidden on an abandoned human outpost, a small ancient terminal came to life. It blinked once, then played a final message. A human voice, old, tired, full of pain. We didn't build it because we wanted to. We built it because we knew one day that they'd forget what we survived. The screen faded. The Empire now faced a truth they couldn't unsee. They didn't discover a ship. They awakened Earth's revenge, wrapped in steel, powered by time, and guided by loss. The war that never ended. The Empire believed the war with Earth had ended long ago, but they were wrong. The war never truly ended. It had simply gone quiet. And deep in that silence, they built Revenant. The ship not made to fight battles, but to make sure no one ever started one again. And now, the ship had returned. As it neared the core world of the Empire, nothing could stop it. Satellites shut down. Sensors failed. Even time itself seemed slower around it. From orbit, the alien leaders watched in horror as Revenant crossed their sky. Not fast, not violent, just, sure. One general shouted, "All weapons, fire now!" Missiles launched, beams fired, thousands of defense cannons locked on, but none of it touched the ship. Every shot bent away, like space refused to allow the ship to be harmed. Then, Revenant responded, not with weapons, with memory. A powerful pulse rippled from its core. It wasn't meant to destroy. It was meant to show. Every person on the planet, soldiers, scientists, leaders, even children, was hit with a wave of images. They saw Earth during the First War, civilians running, families lost, cities torn apart. They saw humans fighting back with everything they had, and losing. They saw the pain, and then they saw Earth's promise. If it happens again, we won't fight. We'll end. The capital world fell silent. No orders, no screams, just stillness. Because now they understood. This wasn't a war for territory. It was a final warning written in light, steel, and time. And Earth had waited patiently for the day they would be tested again. In the command tower, the Empire's top official dropped to his knees. He looked to the sky and whispered, "We were wrong. Revenant didn't destroy the planet. It didn't need to. It simply left." But as it vanished, one message echoed across the Empire. This was mercy. There won't be a second. Across the stars, other empires took notice. Fleets were recalled. Weapons were hidden. The galaxy now had a new rule. Don't wake what Earth buried. They regret everything. The Empire sat in silence. Their greatest fleet, gone. Their command world, spared but shaken. Their strongest weapons, useless. And across the stars, one thought echoed in every mind. We should never have scanned that. Ship, Revenant, the ancient human warship, had vanished once more. No trail, no signal, just the memory of what it had done, and worse, the fear of what it could still do. The alien council tried to speak in secret, but whispers turned into panic. What if there are more? What if this was just one? What if Earth never truly ended the war? They didn't know the truth. But deep in Earth's forgotten archives, the truth waited. In an old black vault buried beneath Earth's southern ice, another terminal blinked to life. An old human voice played in the darkness. Revenant is not the only one. There were 7. Only one was ever needed. 7 ships, 7 guardians of Earth, and only one had awakened. The rest, still sleeping, still watching. Back in alien space, an explorer ship found debris from a destroyed research station. Among the wreckage was a piece of metal, black, burned, and ancient. On it, one word remained, burned deep into the steel, Earth. The explorers didn't keep it. They buried it in space. Some said they were scared it could still think. Others said it was listening. The Empire changed after that. No more threats to Earth. No more scans of lost ships. No more mocking the Deathworlders. And every time they looked at a dark shape in space, they wondered, is that it? Is that another one? Earth never spoke again, but the galaxy never forgot, because the war hadn't just ended. It had become a story told in fear of a ship that never needed a crew, a weapon that remembered pain, and a people who once warned the stars, heard us once, and we will never forget. The end.